So hello everyone, welcome to a best practice session on DraftSight. So today we will be having a session on customizing DraftSight. So we'll have a look at that. So before we do that, I request you to all of you to stop whatever you are doing and pay attention, as within next 20, 30 to 35 minutes we will be covering how simple and easy it is to customize DraftSet application. And the agenda for this session will be as follow. So we will cover up what all the files are there that we can customize within the DraftSet application. We will see what is profile.xml, profile files, what are those, how we can customize it, and how you know CAD admin can override those files. See that. We will also see what are the application.xml or the application customization files, how an individual can customize them, and then how a CAD admin can use those files to override them. Then we will also see the workspace files. What are those workspace? How we can use those workspace to customize the application as per our need. And then we will also see how a CAD admin can use those files to impose a common configuration among the team members. All right. So we'll start with individual and administrative profiles. So what is basically a profile, individual profile? So the file extension for the individual profile is profile.xml, and it stores the configuration settings for the application environment that are not saved on the drawings. Okay, now this profile, you can set the configuration as per your need. Now it is being used where there are, let's say, multiple users on a single computer. So each of the users would like to have it's one of its own kind of configuration. So how will he do that? So he may go ahead in application option and set his own profile. So we'll see that how one can go into the application option and set the profiles in a few minutes later on. But then the purpose of using those profile.xml is to create separate profiles for different disciplines of the industries. So that's how it can be used. But then what if, let's say I'm an administrator and I want to inculcate my company rules or the standards among all the team members or all the departments. So I have a uniform common configuration settings across my company. So how will I do that? So I'll let you to stick that to that thought. I will soon see how an CAD admin can override those files and impose the common configurations amongst the team members. Right now, but before we do that, let's what actually the profile file looks like. Now, profile saves the settings and preferences. If you look at the right hand side over here, you will find a sample of the profile. Okay, this profile includes the file locations like drawing support file locations, interface file locations, and system file locations and path. Right. It also includes the system options, like a user would like to conduct some general settings, display preferences, or graphic area preferences, and so on. It can also help us to set the user preferences as well, like drafting options and mouse options. Okay, and Now that's the profile that you saw, and then how we can override it. So we can override those file with the file with the name of the file profile underscore overrides.xml. And what does this file do is it will store the file paths, okay, that whatever an administrator provides. Let's say for an example, a CAD admin creates a profile file profile.xml and stores it in a network location. All right, and he want to impose those common configuration whatever that is there in the profile.xml to all of the users. Okay, then he may create a profile override.xml file wherein he can give the path where the profile.xml is placed, and that's how it overwrites the existing by default profile.xml file. Okay, but the file that overrides need to be stored in program data, company name, application name, and that's where the profile underscore overrides.xml file need to be placed. Okay, apart from profile.xml file, and a user or an individual can customize his application.xml file, as well as he can customize his workspace, which is stored as an workspace.xml file. So both of this file goes hand in hand. Okay, the application UI customization file extension or the file type is application named as an application.xml, and this file usually defines the content of the UI element, like what all be the tabs, okay, what all the commands need to be have in the application file, what all the tabs what you would like to include, or the ribbon ribbons in the tab, and then you can set the panels. So that's how you can define the content of UI elements within that file, and then store your own application.xml file. Now there are two type of application, there are two files that you can create. There is a main file which is named as an application.xml, and then there is a partial.xml file that you can create. Okay, then if you create a partial, you can use CUI load command and load those partial customized application files into the DraftSight application. Now let's say if you have certain things in application.xml file and would like to bring those into the workspaces. Now by default in DraftSight we have three workspaces. One is drafting and annotation, then the other is 3D modeling, and the third one is the classic environment. So you can create your own workspace. Okay, and whatever the workspace that will be you create will be stored in that with that name. Okay, and that file will be xyz.xml file. Okay, now the workspace file define the structure of user interface elements. In application XML, it defines the content, what should be there in application, what you need in that application, and workspace define the structure of that element, right? And now both of these files, let's say we have defined the application, there are a lot of commands, okay, that I may need to add or customized as my company standard or as my need. So I may exclude few of the tabs and commands from the application and may include few of the tabs and commands in the application. That's how we customize, right? But then what if I would like to impose all of these settings on and all of this configuration on a user computer? So How do we do it? So the CAD admin may use override files. So we need to write and override files for that. So we can impose those settings on user computers, right? So here are the sample for application underscore overrides.xml file. This is an application underscore override XML file, and this is the workspace override XML file. If you see here in application override .xml file, what does it gives? Actually, it's only locate the path where the actual customization file lies. Okay. Today, for now, in best practices, we will see how we can locate those files and overrides the application. All right. So Ruchita says I am not audible. Am I audible to you guys? Can anyone just unmute himself and tell me?
You are perfectly audible.
All right, fine. Thank you. All right, this is the sample file, how application.xml and workspace.xml files look like. Okay, if you explore the application.xml file, as I said, it includes the content of an application. So the contents like menus, the contents like toolbars, the ribbon tabs, ribbons. If you have any mouse clicks, mouse shortcut clicks, shortcut keys, if you click right click, what will be the menu that you should highlight it? If you click shift plus right click, what menu should it pop up? Now that kind of a setting, you will find it in application.xml file. Now using that, if you create your own workspace, that you find in workspace.xml file. So you have your drafting and annotation, let's say for an example, workspace. Now within that, what are the menu items, what are the ribbon type items, and so on and so on. Okay, so without wasting time, let's jump to an application. Okay, let me minimize this and open an application. So the CAD application that you see on my screen is DraftSight Premium 2022. Okay, so let us have a look at the profile.xml files, and the file location you can find it in C drive. If you go into users, username and app data roaming, you need to click on the application name, that is DraftSight 2022, and then here are those files located. Now apart from customizing the profile, application, or workspace file, there are other files that you can customize too, like aliases files and so on and so on. This might be quite a good thing for you to explore, how you can go ahead and customize those files. But for today's session, let's see how we can customize a profile. Okay, now let's say here is an application and I am a user. There are two users who are using this computer with two different profiles. Okay, what I can do is we have a profile named unnamed profile by default. You can either rename this profile and start customizing the application as the way we want, or you can add a say profile with the name user underscore one. Okay, and then there is an user two with the other name. Okay, now let's say I would like to customize user one profile. I may need to select the user profile and say activate it. Okay, and then I can go ahead and say apply. Now this is a active profile. I can go ahead, let's say within this profile, let's say I would like to change a print setting location, which is in a by default a location. So let's say I am having my CFG files or print configuration files located at on other drive. Let's say somewhere in E drive, and there are uh, other files as well. So I'll click demo, and within that I will create a print config. Okay, I'll say select folder. So whatever the configuration files I will create will be located in this particular location, that is etemp demo print configuration files. Likewise, I can set lot of file locations the way I want. Okay, like many a times I may need to locate the log file locations. Okay, this particularly is helpful for the CAD admin. He may need to, if a application crashes, he may need to look into log files, what has really gone wrong, and it's quite difficult for him to go into this particular location and find out the log. So particularly this file is been set in such a way that it is easily accessible for the CAD admin. So he may go ahead and change this file as well. You can go ahead and change the other settings, like for an example, the display. Now a user one would like to have a dark display. Okay, and then the element cursor, like for an example, a mouse cursor, the current color is red. Let's say he would like to have a cursor in XYZ coordinate system into a white, which is a quite well known or significantly used by the AutoCAD users. So that's the way he would like to have it. So that's the setting he can do. The user one would like to uh, let's say would like to set a default file locations to say, save document as into 2010, and he can also go and save the automatic save file location, which is over here. You can go and say temp, and I would like to have it somewhere in demo and say new folder. I'll say auto save, and here are all the files will be automatically saved. There are other settings like user preferences. Okay, there are a number of settings you can customize or set as per his need. So this is user one profile. Now we can, let's say, activate user true profile, apply it, and then for, let's say, user two, the print setting file location is by default. Okay, and then, or you may say, can select and say I don't want it at a default location. He may have a print file location in demo, and this is config for user number two. can say select this photo. All right. Likewise, he also can go ahead and set uh, the other options, like what is the user interface he would like to have, what are the color elements that are there. Okay, so this is by default the cursor XYZ. He can go ahead and he may say, no, I would like to have a model background as a white background. Okay, open and file save location should be something like he would like to always save the files in R2013, and so on. I can say apply. Now if I go ahead and say activate this and apply, or I can say close this one, application, and open application once again. Now it will open a profile that was previously activated. Okay, so whatever the previous profile was activated, it will load that. For user number 1 was dark, and let's say if I want to create a line, if you see the mouse cursor are in white. So this is how one can work on profiles. But what if, let's say, um, uh, a CAD admin. Now here is a situation: a CAD admin had configured the profile as per the company standard, and he want to impose that configuration on all of the user computers. Okay, now how we will do it? So for that, what we will do is we'll take a user profile number 1 as an example. I will delete this user number 2. I'll close this application and DraftSight application, and we'll go to a profile uh, path and select that uh, folder. Okay, and I will copy this and I will paste it somewhere in temp demo, and I will set a new folder with the name, say this is a profile, and I will paste this in a profile with the name, say test underscore profile. All right, now let's see if that works. So what I will do is I'll go into the app data location and delete the by default folder. So it refreshes all the files and revoke all the by default files that are there in DraftSight. So I'll delete those one. And let's say what's the effect. If I now open the application, it may reflect all the by default files. So it will, the mouse cursor which was looking in white, it should not be there, and then a theme of an application is in a light. And if I'll click on line, I'll find the mouse cursor in green and red. And if I go into application option and have a look at the profile, I will not find those profiles in here. Okay, now let's say I would like to impose those files in here. So what you can do, you guys can go into a help. All right, in help there are sample files. Okay, so here is an administrative file, and here is an profile override specification. Can go into Notepad, open a Notepad, and let's say I'll copy this code over here and paste it in a Notepad. Now what this code say is I would like to override a profile with for any version build. Okay, and that setting type is a string. Okay, I'm just adding a string, and that string location is here. Okay, so what I can do is go ahead and then E drive, I'll go in temp and go into demo where I have placed that profile file. I'll select this path, copy it, and I'll paste this here. I'll delete this one, rest of all the things, and add the file name of that profile. So I'll select the file name, copy it, paste it, and say XML. Right, and then rest of all the things I don't need it. Okay, for now, for the demo purpose. So basically, this says that version is a build of a queue string, that is the location, and the command close here at the version. Then this version build is for particularly for this build. Okay, 12.0.03. And if I am opening a say older version, now the version build 12.0.003 is an older version of a DraftSight, and I want to impose or override that older version as well. So this is for that, but for now I don't need those, so I'll delete it, backspace, and I'll save as this file as an with the name, let's say I'll say this in profile with the name application underscore overrides.xml. So it's already there. Maybe I'll paste it in here. So it is in profile test underscore profile 2. All right. Now let's go to the location. It's in E drive. I'll open a new window and then browse for the file that is in demo profile. What was that? Where was it? Profile test profile. Here it is. So I'll cut this file and then I'll paste it in program data, Dassault systems, DraftSight, and paste it here, application underscore overrides.xml. Now let us see how the program behaves. For that, we may need to close the application once again and then open the application. So it may take effect. Okay, let's see if the file works in a proper way. So I think it has not worked in the proper way, and I don't know why. All right, if I see application override here and then test underscore profile, it's in demo. So this profile access my application.xml, and did I copy the application profile? Oh, sorry, Now the name of the name of the file should be profile underscore overrides. That's the mistake what I did. Let me go to the program data and see what's the file. It's application override. That should not be the file name. So I'll delete this one. I'll open this once again. Let me close the application. And then I can, where was, it should be profile. The file name should be profile underscore overrides.xml. So I'll save as once again. I'll save it on desktop, maybe this time in new folder and with the name say demo, and file name should be profile underscore override .xml. All right, let me save that. It's on desktop, new folder, and then demo. I'll copy this one and then go ahead and paste in program data, those are systems, DraftSight, and here is the location. Now let's see if it works for me or not. All right, now it works. So that's how you override the profiles. Now the theme of the application is dark, and if I click on line, the mouse cursor, if you see the colors of those cursors are totally in white. And now if I go into application option and see the profile location, the by default profile is user underscore one. All right, so that's how we do it. That's how the profiles have been set. Now there is the other way. Okay, now this was the CAD admin who can impose a common configuration among all the departments in such a way. But let's say on an user computer, I would like to add a shortcut to the profile. Well, I can do that. So what I need to do is I can copy and paste those shortcuts. Okay, I can do that, and then click on properties, and within the properties we can set the target location. For now I cannot do that as because I don't have the admin rights, but then you can set the target location and type in so you need to have this starting path. Okay, and with that you can type in, say it's DraftSight .exe, and you need to set a profile for that, or / then type P and then a profile name. Okay, if it is a test underscore profile, and if it is a continuous name, then you need to add commas, double quote there. But if you have a space in between those profile names, let's say test space profile, then you may need to add those two curly commas there, double quotes there. This file target this should be here at the target location. Okay, that can be done by, and you may need administrator rights to do it. All right, my connection is unstable, so if you face any problem in hearing me, do let me know on that. Okay, if you can, if I'm not audible to you, or anyhow I lose you. Right, now let's move on to the other topic, and then it's creating the uh, customizing the application. All right, now to customize the application, you can go and click on manage, and then click on interface here in customization panel, and it will take you to a CUI user interface. Okay, now this CUI user interface has has a source files. Okay, you can add the groups, and then it has a main group which is called as an application.xml file. All right, and there are other groups as well, you know, like macros, remove attributes on a toolbox, and so on and so on. Now let us see what all the files that you can bring in customizing those files. So here is an example. I mean, here are those files. So you can bring in a DraftSight customization file, which is with the file extension XML. You can bring in DraftSight menu files. If you have done any customization using a classic environment, then these are the files called menu files, and can be loaded in DraftSight. If you have a CUIX file, and those are the AutoCAD customization files, star.cuix file, you can bring them AutoCAD in DraftSight and use them. Okay, but then there is a challenge, and if there are any star.cui file, now these are the older version of AutoCAD customization files, which file type is .cui. You can bring those as well. Now there is a challenge in star.cux. As for that, I will show you an example. Let's say I'm having an SCUX file, and that is placed in projects, and then yeah, this is the one. I'll open this CUX file and apply it and load it. So I may find a pulse CAD. Okay, that is the CUX file, and this is how it has been replicated. So basically this file consists of lot of toolbars, if you see, and the basic customization of this file was done in the classic environment of AutoCAD, but still you will find that file in ribbon type user interface. So you may need to go ahead in CUI, type in CUI, or you can go into manage and click interface. That will pop up the customization window panel. You can go into user interface, see if this is activated, and then you can go into ribbon tab, and then you may remove the entries here. And then you can go into the elements in down here. As you see, the command window is missing. If you see down here, the model, you'll see model, sheet, and sheet 2, and then you find command window missing in here, as because the command window is unticked in PaulsCAD. So you may go ahead and tick that one and say apply, and now you will find a command window in here. All right, now I have deleted all the ribbons, so to take effect I may need to close the application once again and then reopen it. Okay, so it will take some time to open the application. Yeah, here you have it, and I'm into PaulsCAD now, and here are, so I can go ahead and set those toolbox at a defined defined location where I would like to place them. Okay, that's how I can do it, and then dress them up as per my convenience and ease. Now, if you see here, there are a couple of fonts missing. If you see on the top, you have save, and then there is a big question mark there. So why such behavior? If I look into C drive and go into the users app, username and app data, roaming, DraftSight application, and see here, there are a lot of fonts that are not in a font folder. So let's copy them and drag them and place them in the font folder. So the CUIX file locations, when an user created a customized user interface in AutoCAD, at that time the location of the fonts in AutoCAD might be different than what's there in DraftSight. So there is a basic customization he may need to go through, even though if he bring in customization file. But if you see, all of those commands work pretty well. So command strings remains intact. If I say, here is the rectangle command, if I click on the rectangle command here, it works. There are few things which mismatches. Okay, and then you can set those things as well. You can click on CUI, go into the customize user interface, and then in that you have the commands, right? I can go into all commands here, all customization files, and let's say this is the dark theme that I'm working on. So I may need to browse all the icons into a dark icon location. So I can browse, I'll say C drive, go into user, and then AKE 30 app data roaming, find for the DraftSight application. Look at the font locations. So here is the font, and in that, let's say I want to have this for a demo presentation. I will select this save icon. I'll open it, and here at the down, if you can see, I have at very end, I have this dark icon. Within a dark icon, I have a save button icon. So I can go ahead and type in find in save, okay, which I have a question mark. I can click on it and say, click on drop down menu, and then so apply, and okay, all right, I need to go into dark. Okay, so why? So I'll select this one, or I can go in light, select this, open it, and then drag it and say select it and apply it. Okay, and say okay. Now it should reflect. Then let's change the interface theme to, let's system and displays in interface to light. Apply, close. As I have placed the icon in the light browse, so it may take effect if I open a lighter theme. So I may need to open the DraftSight application once again. And let's see if it works here. It's not allowing me to, it is not allowing me to load the lighter version. Okay, as because I have overridden the profiles, if you remember. So that's file is working, so that is the proof. So if you even select the lighter theme, my profile is still a user_1 profile, which is in a dark theme. Okay, I can go ahead. Let's say, well, let's try once again and can see if I can place the dark icon into that command. Say save. So so it is not allowing me to do that. If you see here, I can select, it appears a drop down menu in here. But if I particularly select this one, I'm double clicking on the Paul 2023, it don't allow. So it's only working in light environment. Now if I want to take that effect, I need to remove that override file, and then I can work on it. Okay, so but the basic idea is, if you import a CUIX into a DraftSight application, you may need to do a little bit of manual modification within the DraftSight. Okay, now let's close this application once again, and then go ahead in C drive, program data, and the source systems DraftSight, and I'll cut this profile overridden and paste it somewhere here. And then I can go ahead into user profile, AKE, app data, roaming, and then delete this overall folder. Okay, now if I select a DraftSight application, it may take a light effect. Okay, as I have removed the overridden files and deleted the existing files that have took the effect. So now we have a lighter version, and all of those files have been removed here. Now if you want to do a add your own workspace here in DraftSight, so you can do that. Okay, how you can do that? So you can go ahead and then say, I would like to create my own customization, which is a new customization, and then the file location of the customization you need to define. Say, I'll say this is the folder where I would like to place my new customization, and within that new customization, let's say I'll select that XML file. Okay, and within that I would like to add a new access toolbar, which is my access toolbar. All right, and within that access toolbar, if you are satisfied with those commands that are there in the access toolbar, we can go ahead. Or if you would like to add few more commands to the access toolbar, you can click on the command explorer and then select the command that you would like to add in that access toolbar. You need to go ahead and create your own tabs. Like, say this is my new tab, which is, I'll say this is my draw tab. Okay, here you can define a name and what should be the display text. Okay, you need to define a draw text. Display text should be a draw, and within that tab I need to add panel. So you need to create a panel. Let's say this panel name is a I can say draw panel again, and within this draw panel I need to add rows. and within that rows I need to add commands. Like for an example, line, I would like to add into the panel. Then I would like to add rectangle into that panel, and I would like to add circle within that panel. Now if I select a draw panel here, okay, there are two commands in here, and if I go into draw, and I'll say one more, I can add line here. All right. This is how you can create a panel, right? Now if I clicked on a draw panel here, what will be the display text of the panel? So you can define the display text of the panel should be a drafting panel. Okay. And once done, this is defined, you can copy, you can drag this panel and paste it in a draw tab, and within draw tab you have a draw panel. Likewise, you can also define the right clicks. Okay, within that you can change a lot of things. Double clicks, what the double clicks you would like to have, what all the common shortcuts you would like to have in. You can define all these things, and then you can define your own UI profile. Now this is going to sit in the workspace XML. So this is my workspace, and in this workspace, my workspace, I would like to have a my access toolbar, and in ribbon I would like to have a draw ribbon tab that I created. Okay, and the elements that I would like to have in my workspace is I need a command window that's all right there, and I can click OK. So here I have a my workspace, okay, with the draw and those command in here. All right, now what I can do is, so I have created a new customization file, okay, that was located here. I placed it in temp e demo. Here is my new customization file, and then there is a workspace file, so I can go ahead and browse to users ake30 app data roaming, and then in DraftSight workspaces, I will have my workspace XML. I can copy this and then place it in the folder. Okay, now this is the basic way. Now if I go ahead in user AKE and then refresh all the settings by deleting the folder. So this is this is how I can delete this. I can close the application and then reopen once again. Now these are my universal settings. Okay, these are the universal setting that I want to impose on each of the user computer. So what's the next step is to create a override files. Okay, so I can create an application underscore override file and specify the path to that particular file. If I open this particular file in here, you'll find the name as a new customization, name of that particular I think workspace. All right. Sorry, the file, and then application file, and in my workspace underscore workspace, the name of the workspace is my workspace. Right, this is how you can create your own customization files and also override them.